Okay, guys, you know the rules. We like to take 30 minutes so that you can get back to your families and watching football. But we really appreciate you coming on and spending the next 30 minutes with us. We have a special guest, Bradley Miles from Lever Movement, who is a partner of ours this year. And I wanted, as you saw in the bio that I sent out for the Zoom call, so many accolades on running. He was a professional triathlete. I think he qualified for his pro license like right away as well, just because he was such an extremely good runner. And I thought it'd be helpful to hear, what are the tools to become a better runner from him, and then also explain to you guys how you can utilize lever movement in your training. So Brad, I'm going to turn it over to you. And then as I said earlier, if you have any questions on anything as he speaks, please type it in the chat and then we will get to that as we go. Okay. Thanks, Brad.
Awesome. Thanks, Natasha. Yeah. And please, guys, stop me. Natasha, feel free to stop me if there's questions that come up during it. Let's just jump in. Do you mind if you give me the ability to share my screen?
Absolutely.
Thank
Give me
you.
1 second.
But yeah, as Natasha mentioned, so I ran in college down in Texas at Baylor University in Waco. That town has changed tremendously since I've been there, so I don't even recognize it anymore. But no, it was great, 4 years, but really kind of as I was getting closer to my senior year, I started training for triathlon a little bit more. Worked with, great team. That's when I first met Natasha. And so kind of jumped in the IT world a little bit, and from IT world to, doing the Leadville 100 this year and kind of jumping more into the ultra endurance space. It's been a crazy ride. So I am going to share my screen here, and then I'm also going to just talk through a bit about Lever for the folks who either are familiar with us or aren't familiar with us. One of the things that we're doing this year is just taking a massive deep dive into this world of body weight support and just bringing more education and awareness into it. And we'll get to that here in a second. But before that, just kind of, Natasha asked me to go through like 5 tips to becoming a better runner. And so I kind of did some soul searching over the last week or so, and these were, the 5 that I came up with. Obviously a lot of these came from people above me that I just truly respect in the running space. So, first things first, I would say consistency over everything. Like if you can be just consistent day in, day out, year over year, and not even joking, decade over decade, that is going to just set you up for just an incredible foundation, an incredible base. It's never too late to start that foundation either. So I know a lot of people here on this call, Ironman athletes, pretty intense runners. You guys, I'm preaching to the choir here, right? So don't have to get into this one too much. But what I have seen just by, founding Lever 5 years ago is a lot of injuries come from an extended period of time off. And so if you can just be consistent, that really does reduce your risk of injury. Next one, hills pay the bills. I love hills. Ultra runner now, I'm going to be racing in Leadville, Colorado here this summer. I love hills, so I do them almost every single day. I love the strength that comes from it. I love the quick turnover that comes from it. I also believe that it helps you develop a better running gait, and naturally helps you become a better runner, and just strengthens all the things that need to be strengthened. So love hills. Race adaptation. I am a big believer in practicing specifically what you're going to experience on the day of the race. And so doing that as often as you can, obviously within reason, depending on the race. But like if you're going to be doing 70.3 Waco this year, practice some downhill running. You need to, because if you don't practice some downhill, I know they changed the course a little bit. I don't know if they go through Cayman Park anymore, but if they still go through Cayman Park this year, like practice downhills. Your quads are going to get blown up if you don't. And so it's going to really make for a difficult race. Mental strength. So I've been kind of dabbling in this world a little bit, but what I have realized is the mental side can almost make up for some of the things that you're lacking from a fitness perspective. And if you can come in mentally stronger than you ever have been, and just determined to accomplish the goals that you have set out for yourself that day, it's amazing what your mentality can kind of take you through to the finish line. Also put a note in here, like who speaks to you more than you do. So just develop in yourself, like throughout training, just a positive like self-talk. Like when you're training, going through those really hard intervals on the bike, like you need to be coaching yourself, because you coach yourself more than your coach actually coaches you, right? So practicing that in practice also will show up on race day. I also made a quick note here. Visualization is like absolutely key. It's been really cool. I've done a lot in the visualization world before race. I've had multiple races actually play out to the exact like visualization. And I think that that's a really cool aspect of just visualizing and just kind of preparing your body for what's ahead for that next day. I took this last one from Tim O'Donnell. And it really rubbed off on me when I was talking to him about this, but really have fun with training until you need to become obsessed. He has, if you follow Tim on social, like he's a very fun guy, like he's always having fun. But one of the things that maybe some people don't know is for the 4 weeks before his A race, usually like Kona, he goes to Kansas City, he goes to Kansas, and he doesn't do much on social media. He I don't take this too seriously, but like he also doesn't talk to anybody around him except for the people that are in his inner circle, and he becomes absolutely obsessed on his goal in that 4-week time frame. And so yeah, just kind of becoming obsessed and really loving it. It's hard to live that type of lifestyle all the time, but doing that, you know, when it counts 4 weeks into a race is pretty awesome. And then just to transition here from that into the lever world, and maybe I don't have the chat up in front of me, but is anybody familiar with lever? I guess, Natasha, I know you've been using it for a bit. Just as I
Yes.
kind of dive in here. Okay,
Yeah, I've
cool.
been using it. One of my coaches has used it. A couple of my athletes got one. They've been using it. For all of them, they were coming off injury, and so that helped them start running sooner than had they not had lever. And then I have had a couple of the pros that I work with use it in order to build mileage safely, as they were still pretty new to running, but they did found that their running efficiency, economy, everything improved the more they ran. As you said, consistency over everything. And so that was a really cool tool to add to training for them.
Awesome. And also, I don't even think, I didn't even tell you this, Natasha, but we've got one of the coaches coming on at the end to walk through a quick 60-second story that he experienced through coming back from a stress fracture. So we'll say that near the end though. So real quick, just about us, since I'm here, I started the company April 2019. It really came from, you know, I had a lot of experience with the AlterG. It's, you know, $50, $60, $70, $80,000 device that uses air pressure for its body weight support functionality. The actual training aspect of bodyweight support is so incredibly effective and beneficial, but quickly I found out that it was extremely inaccessible for the majority of America. I mean, even moving up here to Boulder, Colorado, you know, I've got Olympians that are my friends, and they can't even get access to an AlterG in town. And so that kind of started spurring on some of that mindset of like, there has to be, because the training's so great, there has to be something out there for the everyday person, the everyday athlete. And as you can kind of see here, our mission, so it's a 15-year mission, and we're 10 more years into it, but our mission is to bring an unloading component to every new treadmill produced around the world. We were seeing, don't want to harp on it too much, but we're just seeing such amazing feedback and results from it that we do seriously believe that it's going to just be a built-in function to every treadmill that's going to be produced here in the next now 10 years. It was 15, but so today, you know, we have customers all over the world, many athletes, but also PTs, collegiate teams, professional teams. We're on 6 out of the 7 continents, leaving out Antarctica. I don't even know if they have a treadmill in Antarctica. We should probably look into that. But our devices are patented, and we have 2 bodyweight support products today. To hit it high level, I mean, bodyweight support's any method of suspending part or all of your body weight. And so it can be done in overhead harnesses, outdoor bicycles, underwater treadmills, air pressure. The way that we do it though specifically is ours is a treadmill attachment. So we fit onto the arms of a treadmill. It's an 8 to 10 pound frame. It includes elastic cord, shorts, a pulley system, and we give you the freedom to kind of move around on the treadmill while suspending a portion of your body weight. And really the reason why the space exists is to very simply offload the impact on your bones, muscles, and joints. And so just, I'm going to keep moving so that we can have some time for questions at the end here. But so running gait breakdown, this is the main reason why body weight support is so effective. And I'm going to jump to the vertical GRF here. So ground reaction force. That vertical ground reaction force is a significant factor leading to injuries. And here's why. Just a quick explanation of it. If you're 150 pounds, your vertical ground reaction force is 150 pounds when you're standing still. But when you start running, that actually gets increased by a multiple of 3. So 150 pounds then becomes 450 pounds for every step that you take. We know cadence, right? So let's say about 90 steps per second per minute per foot over an hour run. That's a lot of weight that you're putting on your body. And that's why it is one of the significant injury factors. And so really body weight support then is really beneficial for 2 main areas. One is that injury recovery. And then the second is from a performance standpoint. I'm going to be hitting these very high level today, but if you have questions or want to go deeper with any of this stuff, I included some links here in the next slide or two that you can go through on your own time. Because I'm going to send this deck over to you, Natasha, if that's totally fine for you.
Absolutely.
To distribute. So the main injuries that we support today and help our athletes come back from: plantar fasciitis, and these are a lot of the common running injuries, so they probably don't catch you by surprise, but Achilles tendinopathy, patellar tendinopathy, stress fractures, shin splints, IT bands, many more. So really, the important part of body weight support in this recovery plan is to load and unload those tendons and bones throughout that recovery process. Your tendons and bones, they do need blood flow to those areas while they're recovering. And so that's one of the reasons why body weight support allows you to come into like a controlled environment and load those in a very like pain management type of way. Anyway, pain management, pain monitoring model is a big part of that. And then on the flip side, performance, this is a really neat area for us. So we started the company really thinking that injury recovery was all we really were going to do. That's where most of the research was at those days. But as we've started getting more and more into the space and working with customers that are using body weight support over 5 years now, we're starting to see a really cool correlation between body weight support and performance. So this can be in over speed work, increasing your run mileage, like Natasha mentioned earlier, gait improvements. That's a really important one. So using it as a tool as prehab, kind of going back to that consistency over everything, being able to stay healthy is huge from a performance standpoint. And then weight loss, postpartum, there's a lot of things that we are doing from a performance standpoint as well. Again, not going to go, so these links lead to the return to run protocols. If you guys are interested in checking those out, if you are dealing with any of these today, these would be really good for you to check out. But at the end of the day, body weight support can help you avoid some injuries, train through them, especially some of those niggles, and then recover from a lot of those popular running injuries that we mentioned earlier. And then just wanted to make mention that all of our protocols are also in our free Lever app. And so if you are coming back from one of these, you can actually do a step-by-step, day-by-day plan that are built by PTs in the space. So we've worked with PTs to come up with really neat, engaging day-by-day plans and protocols that you guys can follow. And then the other aspect of it is performance. And so this mainly is just performance enhancement for the triathlete. And so one of the things that I would love to kind of just chat through a little bit is what we're seeing with the pros that we work with is overspeed sessions at body weight by taking about 10%, 15% body weight off is doing a lot of really cool things. And so first and foremost, and you guys know this already, so I'm not telling you anything new, but high intensity is a large factor in injuries and running injuries. And so being able to do these sessions with body weight support decreases that injury risk. And also by decreasing your body weight by about 10%, you can run 30 seconds per mile faster. So we did some research with a few universities, and it's been really cool to see that. I don't have that linked. I should link that research. But regardless, the good example of this is I just did a 16 by K workout on the treadmill this last week. I think it was Tuesday. I did 10K, 10 by K at 540 pace, full body weight. And then on the last 6, I did at 85% body weight and at 510 per mile. So, you can even see there 30 seconds per mile at the same heart rate. And that's the crucial aspect of it, is my heart rate was the same, but I was getting now the turnover of 510 pace versus the 540 pace. Guys like Charlie probably laugh at this because he's running these way faster than I am. But I wasn't able to do all 16, probably either at 540 and definitely not at 510 pace. But this allowed me to get the turnover that I needed for the workout. And then also the increasing run volume, running more allows you to run faster, right? I feel like that a lot of people talk about that a lot. We've got a lot of great customer testimonials around this as well. But yeah, adding, longer long run, or increasing some of your double runs, and then adding that run. So a big thing here is, when we work with triathletes, a lot of them are swimmers and come from a swimming background. And so a lot of our swimming athletes don't have the ability, or bodies can't handle the volume that they need in order to compete at the level they want to compete at. And so they're using, body weight support to increase a lot of their run volumes for their peak, training periods. Running gait improvements, I think we talked about that one a bit as well, but it is important to improve your run efficiency. And this is just kind of quick dive into lever. We've got 2 products, our Up Plus and Go Plus models. That Plus is the scale that's added with it. You actually can see on your phone, on our lever app, the precise amount of weight that you're taking off. So that's what the Plus stands for in both of those models. We start around $1,000. We are doing a discount code with the NVDM team this year, which is really cool. The main difference between the Up and the Go model just is a backpack version that you can travel with. And so we just brought that out about 3 months ago exactly. And so that's actually been cool for our athletes that are going to a lot of training camps and traveling the world for racing. Now it can just be in a backpack and you guys can travel with it, which is really cool. A pair of shorts comes with a purchase or a rental. And then, I just added some links here. We're doing some more. This is definitely 30,000, 50,000 foot level. We're doing a lot more with a kind of a team this year. Not a formulated team, but just a lever team where we're setting up like a monthly call just to provide more in-depth training and more specific training for your for athletes this year as well. So if you guys do want to take that team survey, that would be super helpful for us. You don't have to join the team by any means by taking the survey. That just helps us kind of further what we're doing in this world. And then beautiful face there on the right. But we got a lot of testimonials. I linked to them. I put this one together today. So linked to a few of them. You can kind of see how different athletes are using the tool, whether it's injury recovery or for performance. And actually, since we're here, Charlie, I've got your face up. I know we started working together a couple of years ago when you had a stress fracture. Do you mind sharing a quick bit about that?
No, not at all, man. So can everyone hear me? My headphones are kind of up, but got me cool. For me, it's probably like 3 things. So, and I'll kind of say this. So when I first got injured, there was 13 months in between really races, and then about a full year of training between when I started running again to my world record this past November, if that makes sense. And for me, I use lever and kind of looked at it like 3 facets. So the first one was I'm a runner. So like there's mostly triathletes on this call. When I have to get in the pool or bike, that's just, I mentally, it wears on me and I don't like it. So the first thing was being able to hop on the lever, take a ton of weight off. Like I'd max it out, take 40, 45 pounds off just to get some sort of running. And this started really about November of 2022. I guess probably October. So that's kind of the first thing. Second thing was Brad, and he kind of already touched on these, but I'll just kind of reemphasize them. The second was just going to loading my bone because I had a grade 4 sacral stress fracture. Had a couple MRIs follow-ups, saw that it was healing properly, but it's also we need to load that too to stimulate growth. So it's start with 30 pounds off for a few weeks, then get to 20 pounds off a few weeks after that, 10 pounds off. As I kind of increased mileage and the bone kept healing. So that was great. And then, thirdly was, and Brad already mentioned this as well, but double runs. So it was essentially went from my longest run last November was 7 miles. Obviously got up to a 35-mile day, this past fall training. But like with that, it's like to get to that mileage, you have to obviously double. It's hard to do that in singles. And when I first started doubling, it was all on the lever. So, and that was mostly like 25 pounds off, started, gradually went down about 10 pounds off, and through really probably about even this time last year into February, March, was still doubling on the lever at 10 pounds off just to keep like loading, being precautious, but also getting that volume. So that's where it was super, super useful for me.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Charlie. Yeah, and I'm pretty much wrapped up here. Again, threw a couple more testimonials up there. You can find these a lot of different places on our website and other places as well. But yeah, I think the big thing, and Natasha just mentioned it earlier, like if you are going through an injury right now, coming back ahead of schedule is always a great thing to do. I kind of highlighted that one down here as well. So, whatever injury, especially lower limb injuries that you're going through, would love for you even to take the survey that we've got. And if you need some more like in-depth help with bodyweight support, like that's what we're here for this year, and just want to provide a lot more education about it, and also support you and support this team as well. Yeah, so that you guys can keep rising up the ranks, right? So you guys are doing great.
Thanks, Brad. If you want to take this off the screen, Bradley, and then if anyone has any questions, let's type in the chat. We just have a few more minutes. One of the things I was going to say, and it's something they added new, you don't have to buy it. You can just rent it. So if you're someone that's very curious about using lever in your training, you could rent it for a month. We have the code, so it makes it very affordable, and check it out and see how you use it. Will it help you? I can see a bunch of you on this call that I know this will be something that will be beneficial for various reasons. But if anyone has any questions, please type them in. We'll give it like one more minute. And Brad, I really appreciate the time tonight. Charlie as well. I appreciate you getting on and letting us know how you used it. Anyone else? Everyone's shy tonight. Any running questions? Oh, I'm going to talk about this. Type in any running questions. I ran the 3M half marathon today, and I'm going to, 2 things I noticed that I have to like tell all of you. Number 1, tangents matter. So Charlie, Brad, you're going to nod your head, but so many people were not running the tangents. And it was so funny because every single time I ran a tangent and I yelled at everyone around me to go, I yelled out tangent, let's run. And I had a whole bunch of our athletes around me, and we would cut the corners. And every time we did that, we had someone else who we could see. We gained a couple feet on them every single time. And at the beginning, they had no idea what I was talking about. Then by the end, it became like this game. So cut the tangents whenever you can. This is the reason I never run in pace groups. I get this question asked all the time. When you run a marathon or half marathon, do you run in the 1:30 pace group or the 3-hour pace group? And I say, no, run right in front of them or behind. Because when you're running in a massive pack of people, you can't cut the tangents, and you're forced into their rhythm. And it's just sometimes can throw your own running gait off when you're trying to run amongst all these people in a small pack. So I'm sure Charlie and everyone has a whole bunch of tips, but we do have a question. So go ahead. I just wanted to share that from today. Yeah, Kyle. Can you read that, Brad?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So Kyle said, as you take away body weight and increase speed of the treadmill, is the speed able to increase because you are in the air longer? If that makes sense. Like, is it because the vertical oscillation increases? Does cadence stay the same with the increased speed with lever? Curious about this, especially with overspeed work. I've used an Alter G and just felt like I was floating way too much between strides. So Kyle, I guess, yes, to answer your questions, we can take them, I guess, one bit at a time. Is the speed able to increase because you're okay, so you're able to run. So I guess when you look at this at a very simple level, your heart rate is your effort, right? At obviously it's a little bit more intense than that, but so if your heart rate is 150, at 5:30 7-minute pace or 7:30 pace, it really just comes down to an effort game. And so if I'm reading this correctly, the speed increases because of not having as much weight on the treadmill. Like the treadmill isn't going faster. Am I reading that correctly? I'm sorry. Maybe if Kyle, if you don't mind sharing a little bit more about what you're saying here.
Kyle, if you want to get on and actually ask the question.
Yeah, sorry, it was pretty complicated to kind of put into words. So when I was using the Alter G treadmill, I have one at my work, and I just feel like if I use it, I can increase the speed of the treadmill a lot, but my cadence kind of stays the same, and I'm just floating in the air longer between each stride. So I'm wondering if as you're using it, you can increase speed, and like your cadence can increase as well. Like you're able to get that over speed work, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, thank you. Okay, so the big difference between us and Alter G is you can sit in an Alter G fairly comfortably. Like you can really like sit in the shorts because you're strapped in. Our system was designed so that you're still running. Like it's not doing the work for you because we're pulley based. You still have like full range on the treadmill. You go forward, backward, side to side. Like you are the one propelling yourself forward rather than being able to like sit in this air bubble and like suspend yourself for longer, if that makes sense. Okay.
Perfect.
And I will say too, and the bungees do kind of react like with you, like it flexes, moves with you, kind of like you touched on, Brad, going forward, backwards, like a lot more flow to it in your stride versus an Alter G.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Another question. This one might be for you, Natasha, but tangents are corners?
Both. Yeah. Basically, if the course is just doing this like 3M did, yeah, I saw people kind of staying to the right as they kind of swerved around, and instead of just cutting across at any time they could, you would cut the distance by doing so. Evan, I don't know if this one will answer here tonight. Brad, I would wonder if you had an answer to this. We have an answer to it, but I'm curious if you did. What is the best way to lose weight while you're deep in training for an Ironman? It can be hard to have a consistent calorie deficit when you're trying to consume enough to support your workouts and recovery. Did you want to take a stab at answering that, or I can go for it?
You definitely follow on. To me, I would say, and this may not be the answer that you might give, Natasha, but when I'm training and my body feels good, I don't necessarily think about, I let my like workouts and my training determine what my body weight is, if that makes sense. More so because I want to make sure I'm fueled and like ready for every single workout, because you're putting a lot of stress on your body. So that's how I would answer. I'm not concerned too much. I want to make sure I have the proper fueling regardless of whatever weight I'm at. If I'm doing a lot of work and I'm doing the right work, my body will get itself to the space it needs to be at to race.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. Going with exactly what happened to me for the longest time in my career, I was so focused on my weight and getting leaner. And as soon as I switched my focus to performance, how could I just fuel the workout that's ahead of me, recover as quickly as I can for the next workout? My body got into a really great shape. As you said, it finds its happy weight in order for you to perform. However, a nutritionist, if they had to answer that, they would say you probably want to cut the calories before the Ironman training starts, because you need to fuel the work that's ahead of you in order to hit the long sessions and to be able to recover from the long sessions. So if you can do it before you get to the main Ironman training block, that would be ideal, to cut a little bit of calories. And too many people go too far of a deficit. We just say just small. You need to be fueling the work. So if you can just be under at the end of the day with the amount of volume you're training, you should be able to, but just be a small amount under your calorie number each day versus this massive deficit, and you will slowly get to the weight that you want while still feeling good. So, okay. And now we got a lever question. So we'll just, 6:31. So we want to be mindful of time. For the lever, love it. Velcro apparatus like Tomb Raider or shorts?
Man, I am so sorry I haven't seen Tomb Raider. So the only shorts, the only shorts with our system, I know that's so embarrassing. Okay, so the only Velcro we have is with our shorts, and really that's just to be able to slide your leg in and then Velcro it tighter. A lot of the lifting is coming from, kind of waist and the shorts there. So that's where the Velcro comes into play. But the rest of it's just an aluminum frame.
It seemed like there was like more of a shorts option or like a Velcro option.
Okay, if you're asking, yeah, so our PT shorts, I guess that's the clarification. So on our website, we also do have shorts for PTs, and they are designed to be over top of your patient's clothes. And so if they're coming in jeans and don't want to change into our shorts, they can use the PT shorts to go over top of their pants.
Got it.
And then what's the cost to rent? Plus, can you take it to Lifetime to try it? So great question. Cost to rent, $99 per month for the lever up. Natasha's discount code, so 15% off, does apply to those monthly rentals. So that will actually hit every single month, which is really cool. And then you can take it to Lifetime to try it. We're working with Lifetime a bit right now. The unit's designed to set up in under 90 seconds. So if you take it to a gym, it's lightweight. So take it to the gym, set it up in 90 seconds. You can be running in 2 minutes when you get to the gym. We're working with a few of the trainers at the Plano Lifetime right now. So yeah, Lifetime is all on board. They have mainly techno gyms, and techno gyms work great with the lever system.
Awesome. Okay, guys, it's 6:33. Brad, thank you so much for your time tonight. I will definitely send this call out. I'll send out the presentation with the codes and the links. If anyone has any questions, Brad has his email on that presentation. We'll make sure you guys get it, but feel free to ask me as well. And we hope you guys have a great week, and we will see you next weekend.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you.